Go. I will proclaim to the world the deeds of Gilgamesh. This was the man to whom all things were known. This was the king who knew the countries of the world. He was wise, he saw mysteries, and knew secret things. He brought us a tale of the days before the flood. He went on a long journey, was weary, worn out with labor. Returning, he rested. He engraved on a stone the whole story. When the gods created Gilgamesh, they gave him a perfect body. Shamash, the glorious sun, endowed him with beauty. Adad, the god of the storm, endowed him with courage.
The great God made his beauty perfect, surpassing all others, terrifying like a great wild bull. 2/3 they made him God, and 1/3 man. In Uruk he built walls, a great rampart, and the blessed temple of Yana, for the god of the firmament, Anu, and for Ishtar.
In Uruk he built great walls, a great rampart, and the blessed temple of Yana, for the god of the firmament, Anu, for Ishtar, the goddess of love. Look at it still today, the outer wall where the cornice runs. It shines with a brilliance of copper, and the inner wall it has no equal. Touch the threshold, it's ancient. Approach Yana, the dwelling of Ishtar, our lady of love and war, the like of which no latter-day king, no man alive can equal. I'm upon the wall of Uruk. Walk along it, I say. Regard the foundation terrace and common masonry. Is it not burnt, brick, and good? The 7 sages laid the foundation.
Gilgamesh rejects the advances of Ishtar, goddess of love. In revenge, she brings the mighty bull of heaven down to threaten Uruk. Gilgamesh and Enkidu kill the bull, but Enkidu dreams that the gods had decreed his death for helping to slaughter the bull in Humbaba. Enkidu is furious at his fate until Shamash, the sun god, allies some of his anger. Then Enkidu describes another dream about him. Enkidu slept alone in his sickness. In bitterness of spirit, he poured out his heart to his friend.
It was I who cut down the cedar, I who leveled the forest, I who slew Humbaba, and now see what has become of me. Listen, my friend, this is the dream I dreamed last night. The heavens roared, and the earth rumbled back in answer. Between them stood I before an awful being. The somber-faced man-bird, he had directed on me his purpose. His was a vampire face, his foot was a lion's foot, and his hand was an eagle's talon. He fell on me, and his claws were in my hair. He held me, I smothered. Then he transformed me so that my arms became wings covered with feathers.
He turned his stare toward me, and he led me away to the palace of Arkala, the queen of darkness, to the house from which no one enters and ever returns, down the road from which there is no coming back. There is the house whose people sit in darkness. Dust is their food, and clay is their meat. They are clothed like birds with wings for covering and see no light. They sit in darkness. I entered the house of dust, and I saw the kings of the earth, the crowns put away forever, rulers and princes, all those who were once kingly crowns and ruled the world in the days of old. They who had stood in the palace of the gods like Anu and Enlil, stood now like servants to fetch baked meats in the house of dust, cooked meat and cold water from the water skin. In the house of dust which I entered were high priests and acolytes, priests of incantation and ecstasy. There were servants of the temple, and there was Atana, the king of Kish, whom the eagle carried to heaven in the days of the old. I saw also Samukin, god of cattle, and there was Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, and Balit Sheri squatted in front of her, she who is recorder of the gods and keeps the book of death. She held a tablet from which she read. She raised her head, she saw me and spoke. Who has brought this one here? Then I awoke like a man drained of blood who wanders alone in the waste of rushes, like one whom the belief has seized and his heart pounds with terror.